بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. To bring victory, believe that believe that you are the one that is doing, that is your downfall. إذ أعجبتكم كثرتكم فلم تغن عنكم شيئا. And yesterday we discussed يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله ورسوله ولا تولوا عنه وأنتم تسمعون أو those who believe obey Allah and His Rasul ولا تولوا عنه, do not turn away from him وأنتم تسمعون whilst you are listening. We discussed it, and we discussed yesterday also the different types of listening. One is you just hear, one is the hearer hears with the ear, simply heard some voice, but neither tried to understand it, nor understood it, nor believe it, nor relied upon it, nor did he act upon it. That's number one. Number two, he heard it through his ears, all right, even understood it, but not, he understood what is being said, but he did not believe it, nor did he act on it. The third one, he heard, he understood, even believed and trusted, but did not act accordingly. The fourth one is he heard, he understood, he believed, he trusted, and acted accordingly as well. So it is obvious that the real purpose of listening is fully realized only through the fourth degree, which is the station of perfect believers. So as believers, we need to aspire to the fourth one, which is the right. As for the earlier three degrees, the act of listening described there is imperfect and incomplete. Right, so there, as for the earlier three degrees, they are incomplete. We want the fourth one where you hear, you understand, and you practice. Right. The third degree mentioned above has the ingredients of hearing the truth, understanding it, and believing it, but lacks corresponding deeds. Here, the real purpose of listening is not realized as it should be. As it should be. Yet, belief has its own importance, and that can be rejected as useless. So, yes, we don't say that believing without practicing is not beneficial. Right? Believing without practicing it is beneficial, but the highest degree of believing is when it is coupled with what? With practice. Then there is the second degree where we find only listening and understanding, but no belief and no corresponding deed. This degree is that of the munafiqeen. So then is the second degree where we find people only listen and understanding, but no belief and no corresponding deed. This degree is that of the munafiqeen, the hypocrites, for they do listen to the Quran, understand it too, even have a faint claim to desire belief and deed. But the reality is that they not believe and do what is right and due. Finally, the first degree is that of the polytheists and the disbelievers who listen to the message of truth and the ayat of the Quran with their own ears, but were never motivated enough to understand and think about it. So in the verse cited above, number 20, the address is to the Muslims who have been told that they do listen to the message of truth. After all, that is the initial requirement of listening, understanding, and believing is present in the attitude as it is. But they must do more than that, right? They must act. They must do what must be done and do it fully and faithfully. They have been asked not to do anything which would take them away from the path of obedience, so that the real purpose of listening to the word of truth stands fully realized. So you say the highest degree of listening to something is to what? Is to understand, is to listen, to understand, to believe, and to practice. That is the highest degree, right? Read the next one. وَلَا تَكُونُوا
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا تكونوا كالذين قالوا سمعنا وإذا يسمعون.
Yeah, so don't be like the people. Bismillah ar-Rahman. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ قَالُوا سَمِعْنَا. Yeah, we heard. وَهُمْ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ, but did not hear. One is, you say, what they say in English? You heard, but you did not listen. You heard, but you don't listen. In other words, you never hear with the intention to practice. And do not be like those who say we have heard while they did not listen. For added emphasis on the same subject. So this is just an extension of the previous subject. That don't just say you heard, but you must understand and practice. Whoever emphasis on the same subject, he said in the second verse, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ قَالُوا سَمِعْنَا وَهُمْ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ, and do not be like those who say we have heard while they do not listen. Meant here are common disbelievers who claim to be listening but make such a claim about believing. Also meant here are the hypocrites who go beyond the elementary listening, which they already do. In fact, they also claim to understand what they listen to and to believe in as well. But the truth of the matter is they both remain deprived of genuine deliberation and correct understanding. Therefore, their listening falls under the category of not listening. So hearing, etc., and not practicing is almost like not listening. So Muslims have been forbidden from becoming like them, right? Is there still another verse there? Okay, read the next verse. Loud. Subhanallah. Inna sharra ad-dawab inda Allahi as-summu al-bukmu alladhina la ya'qilun. Surely the worst of all animals in the sight of Allah Ta'ala are deaf and the dumb who do not understand. So the third verse, verse number 22, strongly condemns those who do not listen to what is the truth thoughtfully and let it go unaccepted. The Quran has declared such people to be worse than animals. The words used are Inna sharra ad-dawabi inda Allahi summul bukmul ladhina la yaqilun. Surely the worst of all animals in the sight of Allah Ta'ala are the deaf and dumb who do not understand. The word dawab is a plural of dabatun. Literally, everything that walks on the earth is called daba. But in usage, only quadruped animals are called daba. So normally daba can refer to any creature, but normally those that have 4 legs, right? That is in the technical sense, right? Referred to. So the sense of the verse is that the worst quadrupeds in the sight of Allah Ta'ala are that means like human beings also have arms and they have legs, right? So the sense of the verse is that the worst quadrupeds in the sight of Allah Ta'ala are the ones deaf against listening to the truth and dumb when it comes to accepting it. Even someone deaf and dumb could, if he has the least fund of reasoning, make himself understand by simple gestures in a two-way communication. So no matter how even if you are deaf and dumb, right, in the literal sense of the word, you can still convey a message, right, by means of hand gestures or something, right? But here, these people, they are not deaf and dumb, but still they do not want to accept the message. Even someone deaf and dumb could, if he has at least fund of reason in him, make himself understand by simple gestures in a two-way communication. But these people are not only deaf and dumb, they are short on the reason also. It is obvious that for a person who is deaf, dumb, and devoid of reason too, the lines of communication will remain blocked, and there will be no way they can understand or be made to understand. So if a person is deaf, dumb, and he got no reason, he got no will, he got no desire to understand, right, then the lines of communication will remain blocked, and there will be no way that they would understand or be made to understand. In this verse, Allah Ta'ala has made it clear that human beings have been created with the best destiny. They have been made the superior most among the created, and the universe has been placed at their service. These are the greatest blessings which lie embedded in and dependent on listening to the truth and obeying it. Once human beings turn their backs on listening to the truth, understanding and accepting it, all these blessings are sucked away from them, and they are relegated to some species worse than animals. It appears in the Ruh al-Bayan that human beings are, in terms of the original creation, superior to all animals. So by default, a human being is more superior to an animal, right? But when he does not use his intellect that Allah Ta'ala has given him, then he sinks to a degree lower than an animal, right? So it appears in Ruh al-Bayan that human beings are, in terms of the original creation, superior to all animals, but are lower in rank as compared to angels. When human beings strive in the path of obedience to Allah Ta'ala, the Creator, they rise above the status of the angels, subhanAllah. So see, generally the default ruling is angels are more virtuous than human beings, right? But when a human being suppresses his ego, he suppresses his desire, he becomes more virtuous than an angel. And then generally also, a human being is more virtuous than an animal. But when he gives into his animalistic desires, he becomes even lower than an animal. What is that verse there? إنهم إلا كالأنعام بل هم أضل. Right? However, should they turn away from the path of obedience to Allah Ta'ala, they are condemned to become the lowest of the low, far worse than animals as well. Allah Ta'ala protect us. So tomorrow we'll do the Arabic subject. Subhanallah bihamdihi. Subhanakallah bihamdika. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. I said nice mashkas too. Gee? So one more time is up. We'll do tomorrow inshallah.